Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Spicy Dumpling Show, where I talk to projects building on Cardano and ask them non-BS questions so you can get better understanding of those projects. And today with me, we have almost a full leadership team from IAMX, a new exciting project building on Cardano. I believe what they're doing in a nutshell is providing identity solution systems building on Cardano that enables legally binding state and also biometric information on the state level. So with that said, let's welcome Tim Brickman, Tim Heidfeld, Dennis Mitwan, and Alet, all of you, to the interview. And if one of you could start by just simply telling us what is IAMX, its mission, what it does. Thank you.
Yes, IAMX, I will start with this. IAMX is a tokenized identity solution system. This is in a nutshell. And we coming from the telecommunication business and found out, we do affiliate marketing for a lot of telecommunication companies in Germany. And we found out there's our affiliate approach often leads to we don't get our fully paid commission. Why we don't get our commission? Because there is fraud. And this fraud, for sure, we don't get the money for it, for these contracts. And the fraud is 14%, which is quite high for a telco company, as the margin they get per customer goes smaller and smaller every year. So as we have been in Cardano quite a while, some part of handy.de, the telco company, we thought, okay, we found out we can use a blockchain as a tool for having a real decentralized identity, which will cut off all the frauds. So we are a real world problem using the Cardano blockchain as a tool. This is in a nutshell who we are and where we're coming from.
Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious about this fraud prevention. How does Cardano help you to achieve preventing of fraud in the telco industry, even in many other industries that you're thinking of tapping into?
My partner, Tim, this is something for you. I think you love this question.
Okay, why not? So let's have a look at the fraud situation, and I will start in referring to Germany and Switzerland, because there we are quite deeply involved. Okay, Tim Brückmann, my colleague, said that we have about 14% of fraud costs that we can delete to zero, and now we try to understand how they compose, and when we try to understand how they compose, then we understand also what the solution is. So let's say you would be a telecommunication company and you would try to score your customers, and independent of the credit checks that you do in the background, 8 out of 100 customers never pay their bill. So this is the first amount of money that is gone, okay? Second of all, you have about 6% costs with people calling their own, in Germany we have telephone numbers that start with 0900 and they cost several euros per minute. So you pay those phone calls via your phone bill and the telecommunication company pays them, but they go in your pocket, but you never pay the bill. Mm-hmm. This is why they have about 14% costs that they bury. So what we do there is that we put the complete mobile phone plan into a smart contract. Smart contract always means that you have a perfect execution of contractual rights for all stakeholders involved. This means you get the SIM card, you get all the telecommunication topics that you purchased, but you also buy, you also pay in the same moment. And this basically leads to that there's no possibility of fraud anymore, because the services are paid when they're used. So there is no more people that are not paying their bill. If they want to call their own 0900, numbers, they can, but then they have to pay. And also one thing that I did not mention, it's depending when you are traveling into third-party countries, there are usually timing differences when the other telecommunication partners report back the costs that you have caused there. Sometimes it's about 2 weeks, and in Germany and Austria, you usually have a cost airbag, for example, of $40 or 40 euros, but the real costs can be higher. But when you have timing differences of about 2 weeks, somebody needs to pay the bill, and this is always the telecommunication company. So when you put this into a smart contract, then you save all the costs. But besides saving the cost, just that you understand why they are really cooperating with us, this is why we help them to generate a new revenue stream. So when it would only be cost-based, they would probably not do it. So the really good thing that we're doing is helping them to monetize their own customer database, because they have pre-authenticated data. Let's say if you would be a customer of them, I think you're based in UK, right? Mm-hmm. So you're maybe with Orange or 3 or whatever. So they have done a certain authentication process of you. And what we are just, solving is that they can use this pre-authenticated data in several other business cases. So for you as a customer, it's great because you don't have to type in a form again. And based on this, we can just generate new revenues, and we share those revenues with the telcos because they have this pre-authenticated data. And this is because they like our model.
Okay, it's a lot of information to unpack. I can certainly see the appeal for the telco companies. So let's start little by little. First of all, when you first mentioned fraud, I was more thinking like scammers, but it doesn't sound exactly like that. It's more like people evading their bills, not paying their bills, and telco companies don't necessarily have a good solution for it. But if you use smart contract, which is trustless kind of tool, then you don't need to trust this person, right? Everything is written in the code and there's no regrets. Doesn't matter if they want to pay or not, they're going to pay you because it's in a smart contract written down. So I see the appeal for the telco companies, but why would normal users be motivated to use the services that IAMX is providing? Obviously, apart from the convenience that I don't need to type in different types of forms for different companies, but are there any benefits and advantages for the customers?
Yes, usually it's like between 25 to 50% less costs than usually. For example, we have the first case live here in Germany with Freenet and Mobilcom Debitel. Live means it's a proof of concept live. So we wanted to show them how it looks, but the amount of money that can be saved by saving fraud and any other thing will be handed over to the customers. So what we have done there as a product with completely unlimited broadband, LTE, super fast. So for the customer, it is good because you pay 50% less. And in most of our business cases, the customer saves between 25 to 50% on certain offers that are already recognized as a deal. So it's like you always have the best offer that is available in a certain country.
Okay.
These business cases, I think it's important to know, we have for Germany already more than 32. Yeah. So if you're the owner of the wallet, you have 32 possibilities to get your product, digital contract, cheaper. And what do people love? They like to get things cheaper. So it's not a big trick. It's just a matter of onboarding companies, which likes to have more clients in. Yeah, so it's a win-win for all our partners, including, which is for me very important, the end user, because he's the one we have to take care of, not ourselves, not a telco. The most important people is the customer at the end of the day, right?
Okay, so it sounds like the customers get to have a wallet, and then within the wallet, can you see, you mentioned like 32 partner companies, they're giving good offers. So the customer can, within the wallet, choose the offer they want to have. Is that correct?
Yes. If it's like you go in your favorite web shop and usually perhaps you have a PayPal logout or whatever, or an Amazon logout. We all know it. They all have our identities logged in their companies, and you will have an IAMX logout. Yeah? So you push the button and then the one-click solution starts, and directly you have another price. So also the voucher codes will be more or less integrated. Yeah, this is something, so you always will profit from a better price or a better offer in general. Perhaps it's an add-on, you know, you pay some X for a product and you pay some X, but you get another add-on, and so you are happy to have a better product for the same price.
So I think for me as a customer, this would be appealing because it doesn't change much in terms of convenience, right? You have PayPal checkouts on various websites. In this case, we have IAMX checkout, but on top of that, I might have a different, better, more attractive offer, which will incentivize me to use this checkout. And even on top of that, I believe security is something else that is an advantage here using smart contracts. The customers also feel a sense of security. Would you say that's also an advantage to motivate people to use?
Yes, yeah, we're coming from we are aiming to a decentralized world. That's what I think we all love to build on. And I think people who love to own their identity, they will use their decentralized identity in the future. So I think, like, it's always with a new technology, first the people who are in it already will use it, and mass adoption will follow. Yeah, I think, let's say my mom, she's not very interested in having her decentralized identity, but for sure she is interested in getting products cheaper. And so for her, it's not important if she uses a decentralized identity while buying a product. That is more for you and me. We love to be decentralized. We love to own our identity. We like to manage it ourselves.
Yeah, you got a boomer discount, which they love, and you got a new generation decentralization appeal. I see. It's one-click fulfillment, but also
I would
one-click
like to
benefits.
add something. I would like to add something. You can see our solution as a reusable KYC process. So you can use it against other business cases. For example, if you open a bank account or apply for a credit card, you can use our one-click solution to fill out the form and apply for it. And the data is pre-authenticated. So it's not just a simple, it's not a simple one-click solution. It's a reusable KYC process. And I think the value for the customer is much higher than just saving a little bit of time, because you always get back the kickback of saving the costs of this KYC process.
That was at the tip of my tongue as well. You could repeat this KYC process, right? You don't need to apply for Vodafone and T-Mobile or whatever bank. It's all in there. You can reuse that.
Yes, and I think you're also deep in crypto. Tell me how often you have a little bit of a bad feeling doing a KYC with the loved ones we like to buy, you know, with the loved ones project we like to buy. You know, it's always a KYC, which is a lot of work and it doesn't function. You have to wait, you know, it makes us as crypto pioneers a little bit nervous sometimes. You know, I like to log in, I like to have this token, but the KYC doesn't fit, you know. Or if if you like to order a special, to buy a special token, you have to open a special exchange account. It's horrible sometimes how the KYC is done. It takes a little bit time. And finally I say, okay, I buy more ADA. I don't like this coin anymore. It takes too long for me. So KYC for sure is also the product of our project, which have a huge range. We already have people in the community, companies in the community we will partner with, and MELD was the first one who officially announced it, and there will follow some, but we don't like to tell them now, because we feel that we should talk about things when they're realized, not when they're planned. But yes, we will love to make you one of the first people who know about our next official partnerships. And we have our great Mr. Eilert here with us, who will inform you also, and perhaps we can set up also another interview when we have more partners to present.
Yes, appreciate the heads up. So it sounds like you're not limited to telco or retail companies. Actually, in the future, possibilities are endless, like exchanges, you say, that everything that requires KYC, that could be brought to IAMX system.
Yes, that's perfect. And that's right. And my colleague Tim Heidfeld has another big project. It's retail. Tim, perhaps you'd like to inform about that, because this is more our future product, but very interesting.
I think you have to understand the certain business models via channels. So you mentioned PayPal in the beginning, and PayPal basically just enables shopping and some purchases in the e-commerce sector. And for example, PayPal doesn't work on continuous obligations. So your utility bill that you're paying, or your home insurance, or your bank account, your car insurance, all those things, they're not possible with PayPal. And when we go down further, this certain evolution of business models. So when you have banking products, you have certain laws that you need to be fully compliant with. Also, the anti-money laundering law, for example. This means, for example, the further you go down the value chain, the more attributes you need to prove. And the good thing is, if you work with pre-authenticated data that has been pre-authenticated by a partner also on the same level, like you, for example, like a bank would do it. This is what we are reusing. This makes it possible also already from the beginning that we can also just enable those business models with one click. And this is why you save so much time. And we are taking it even further beyond. We will be the first one to put real estate as a collateral on the chain for a stablecoin for Adana and MELD and other partners. So it works like the same, like in real life. We just make the process real easy, and therefore we can also reuse it there.
Oh, okay, sounds great. Sounds wonderful. It's a lot of exciting partnerships and ambitions. There's one thing in particular that I found very intriguing, is the mentioning of biometric information on the state level. And it also would appear that states and governments would be one of the parties that can benefit from IAMX. But obviously, as an ordinary person, and I'm sure people in crypto, very sensitive about things like biometrics and governments even just mentioning them. So why did you choose to have this kind of ambition and goal? What's the benefit, do you think, for you and for the governments?
Dennis, would you like to take this? Otherwise, I will cover it.
I could explain the technical parts of it, but the business approach is your field, I think.
So maybe I start with the business approach. So the question that is usually asked is, why don't you do it with a smartphone? And you always have to judge those so-called verifiable credentials out of the glasses that you would be a bank or any verifier. And we always have business cases where the person that says yes or no needs to trust your identity. And the hardware and software that we are using is being used in Germany and almost every other European state if you come to Germany or the Switzerland, for example, from a third-party country. So this is a very high level. This means that the biometrics that has been taken there, this means the iris, the face, the fingerprints, still and roll is accepted, for example, if you're coming to Europe, and we also have an FBI approval for this. It's not that we have this, it is connected to the hardware that we have. And we can use this in any business cases where it is so important to prove your identity. And like I said, the further you go down the value chain, it is important that you can prove this. And we are doing it in a way that this complete identity, including the biometric identity, is completely owned by the holder. So we never see it, we don't have it, and nobody can steal it because it's directly connected to your wallet. So there's also no risk that somebody can take it or use it in other business cases. And there's also one thing that I really like, because I'm not very good with passwords. And you know, when you have a wallet and you have some ADAS in there, you need always to remember those 24 words. And it would be even worth with your identity. The good thing is your iris is unique, also your face and also your fingerprints. So we take all those 4 biometrics and chain them into a biometric container. This means that you can re-access your wallet anytime with your iris, with your face, and with your fingerprints. So you do not need to remember your passwords. So it's good for any business cases to prove who you are, but it's also, you know, the perfect solution for recovery. And we just do it on a state level so that even banks can trust it.
Never lose your 24 seed phrases. That's so good that we can recover it. This is something we came up with a little bit later in our process. It was not where we started, but it's a super cool add-on. You know, working with us is okay. You don't have to care about your recovery phrase anymore.
I thought you were about to say, never lose your iris or your fingers. I literally thought you were about to say that.
Yeah, please don't lose them, please.
Yeah, you can't lose them, but you don't need to worry because we don't save any clear text data or even biometric data on the chain, and the hashing algorithms used for this are standardized for every solution that's out there. So we use the same hashing principles and methods that the state is using when the state generates a passport for you. And the biometric data is put in the RFID chip on this passport. So we use the same methods, and these methods are certified, and it's not reversible. So your biometric data will be chained and hashed, and these biometric hashing methods are the best methods that are out there at the moment. So you can't regain the identity from it. You can only check against it. It's a one-way solution.
Okay, so
we get approval from it. Dennis, you perhaps you'd like to mention this approval we are working on.
I don't know what you
with what also has Visa card, all these credit cards approvals.
I don't get it.
PCI DSS.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The word I'm missing.
That's for another topic, but yes, we get PCI DSS audit for our not public code fragments.
So when you say state level, you actually don't mean you're working with the government. It's just the level is really high. The state has been using that kind of technology. Is that correct?
No, it's the same technology, but it's not issued from the state. It's just it's the same technology and the same methods that they are using. We are using the same technology because we get the hardware from the same manufacturers, and the SDK for development is certified for it.
Okay, I was more worried about if the state will have access to this kind of information, but that's not a worry, is it?
No,
nobody has access.
To avoid misunderstanding, we don't work in a partnership with the governments, but we deliver a technique which is on a government level.
And also, you know, what motivated us to do this is because, you know, we like blockchain, we love Cardano, and we think we really need a gateway to put everything that we have in our wallets into our from our real world wallets, plastic and paper. I mean, how would you like to bring it on the chain if the government doesn't issue those credentials to you? If you have a driver's license, if you have a certain diploma or whatever, there's always the problem how you get it on the chain. Therefore, our hardware software machine that we built is like a gateway to bring things on a chain in a very, very high manner. And the highest manner is, to use hardware and software that is used on a state level, because this means also banks can use it. And the great thing for you is it costs nothing. It puts it on a state level, and you do not need to wait for the state to issue those credentials to you. If you want to do it, you just go there, you pay nothing, you can use them forever.
Okay, great. So realistically, how does it look like for me, the journey, if I were to get this kind of identification solution? So do I go to your branch, you have some kind of scanner, and then I get my biometrics done?
So we have two sources of customer mass onboarding. Number one is the telecommunication partners, because they have millions of customers, and you just need this in a marketplace approach to have a partner to bring in millions of customers with pre-authenticated data. The second one is our biometric identity gateway. Maybe you have seen it on our website. It's 3 meters high. It weighs 260 kilos. It has a scanner and a screen and 65-inch on the top. And it's really beautiful. And what it does is you put your personal ID on the scanner. It checks whether it's real or not. It can do this for almost every ID that there is in the world. I think there's about 194. And it checks whether it's real or not. And then it decomposes the attributes. For example, my name is Tim Heidfeld, and where I live, the street, the zip code. It takes those attributes and puts them into certain containers. But those credentials are only given to you if you are also standing in front of the machine, because the biometric camera checks whether it's really you who are standing in front of the machine, same as the person on the ID. So nobody can steal your identity. And then we only give those credentials into your wallet. And we have a process for this depending on whether you have never had a wallet or whether you already have a wallet. And we also sponsor the cost of storage. Because, you are very advanced, you have your beautiful podcast, and you have probably some data collected, but 9 out of 10 people don't. So we just, sponsor them the payment that they can do the storage. So it takes only 2 minutes. And it's very simple. It works with the barcode. You scan the barcode, you have the apps, you scan the next. So not barcode, QR code, you scan the next, and then you have the credentials in your wallet. So it's an easy and very convenient process.
Okay, understood. So if I understood you correctly, you're going to have a lot of those spots where people can go to and go through that process, right?
Right now we have built 10 out of those pieces. We have one here in Düsseldorf, Germany at C&A, what is a big clothing company with 450 stores. And we have a catalyst proposal right now to do it in Ghana, in Accra. But if you want in your place in UK and a nice supermarket there, we will put there one for you, of course, also. The goal is with 500 of those terminals, we reach 1.6 billion people. So the 500 biggest cities in the world reach 1.6 billion people. And this is the first that we want to do. And we would, like also to help especially the people that have no identity or lack of identity. It's about 3 billion of them in the world. Therefore, we will start with Africa and Asia.
I was just about to ask you that. I think Africa sounds like a great place to start. And I saw your strategic partnership with Western Africa Decentralized Alliance, WADA. So can you tell us a bit more about this partnership? What does it mean for you and for them?
So for us, at the beginning, you asked of our mission and of our vision. And when you go on our website, we consider it also like the United Nations, that every human being has a right on their identity. And when you look at, that there are 3 billion people in the world, and the horrible thing is 1/3 of them are children who have no identity. We would like to solve this, and we would like to deliver the blockchain answer. And Cardano is the first partner of this. So we think that it does the best in those so-called emerging markets. Because where we are living, you in UK and me in Germany or in Switzerland, everything kind of works here. We can make our lives easier. But if you have no identity, this means you can have no ownership. And you can also not prove ownership. And there's also probably not possible that you can just take part of the prosperity. Therefore, the cooperation with Water Alliance is so important for us, especially the states from Western Africa, because they have wonderful connections to the governments there and to certain industries. And the problems, the real world problems that we solve there are different than the ones that we would solve in Germany or UK. Our goal is always to make the life of the people in a certain country better. Therefore, you have to understand where they are standing and what makes their life better. And it's always there. Therefore, it is important to have a partner there that comes from there, that knows the problems, that understands the people, that helps us, that we do the right things, and we're doing all those improvements with the people from the African continent. So we are not coming there being super smart ass. We're doing this jointly with them and also helping them that they can develop further business cases. So it's a very important cooperation to have always, local heroes, people that understand everything.
Yes, I was just thinking that connecting the unconnected, but first you have to identify the unidentified, I suppose. And that's a great ecosystem Cardano and you are contributing there. Tim?
Yes, yeah, if you look at what we also offer, it's a discount on Netflix. In Africa, if you don't have an identity, you don't need Netflix. It's not something you're really looking for. This is the reason what Tim explained. We need partners in every country. And Water Alliance can help us also to find out these partners and set up a joint venture from us and people in other countries to have, for example, an IAMX Ghana and the people working there and develop more. So we have IAMX Kenya, some people, joint venture, people from Kenya is owning the company, building it up. That's the business mission we are also onto in the developing countries. And I think it's always very important to not to conquer a country. And it's like sometimes if it's commercial wise, you can say they conquer a country, but I think you have to help them develop in their own style. I was working some time in Zhuhai, if you know it, close to Macau and Hong Kong. And if you go back in the country, where you have more farmers than industrial workers living, you see there's completely different approach of what benefits life. And for me, it's so important to do it in the way the people like to do it and not like it's a commercial copy from Europe. I think this is very important. And you just can do it if you give people out of these countries a chance to participate in your dream and in your mission.
I admire that and totally see practically this is the way to go as well. So I suppose we can see more similar partnerships for IAMX then, not limited to Africa, maybe in Asia, South America?
Yes, for sure. This is, we have to do it. We have one partner in our company who is a hidden champion in certain telecommunication business. And he has, he can talk to 49 CEOs of telco companies. And he's part of IAMX. So we will have 49 countries. It's not tomorrow or not half of the year, not end of the year, but this is our mission. And
I was hoping for tomorrow, but okay.
And we are prepared for a long way, I can tell you. We know it's a tough and long way. And yes, we are prepared.
Exciting times. Look forward to it. So in terms of current development and progress, what stage are we in and when can we expect to see sort of the first group of people can already test out your product?
So the plan is that in the second half of 2022, this is already next year, it's not tomorrow, I'm sorry. But next year we will onboard 2 European telcos. We just do this in Europe because we are so well connected there, and you always need, a telecommunication partner that trusts you. And we also have the business cases here. that we can build for the people that live in Germany, Switzerland, and UK. Regarding Ghana and Accra, if we win the Catalyst proposal, we will start there in February and be live in July. Our internal plan is that we have about 5 telcos, telecommunication companies connected by the end of next year. And the plan is to have 120 cities connected at the end of 2022. This is depending on our capital raising that we are right now doing via our little ISPO that we just started in the cooperation with MELD.
Oh, okay, interesting. Could you just touch a little bit on that? Is the ISPO started, and when does it end? How do people participate?
Yeah, let me tell you
Tim
a little bit about that. It's we get in contact with MELD and talked about a lot of other things, and finally we had very good talks, very nice chats, and they told us, yeah, we will close down our stake pools and we will have a list where people should move to. And we had in mind to make an ISO, but it should start next year. And what do you do if someone opens your door? Yeah, it was really unplanned. They say, okay, be our guests, come in. We sent you some delegators. And this was very fast for us, but we are super thankful for MELD. It was so nice that they just put it on a list, and a week later, everything should start. So that was for us a really nice offer, but we didn't had, I think, enough time to plan a real ISO. And it's also where Andrew comes into the game, Andrew Eilertsen, and helps us now to make a nice ISPO, which we integrate also community pools. Like I told you in the beginning, we come from a small stake pool, and we are still with the heart into small stake pools. You know, always if I see pools have to retire, it's our infrastructure dies, parts of our infra. Yeah, people say, it's another pool gone. It's infrastructure dying. So if we don't watch our small pools in the Cardano community, we will have a problem in the future. So for sure, we will make another ISO where we include small stake pools from all around the world. And this is now actually organized by me and Eilertsen. And we will talk about more when we really have everything packed together. So
yeah, if I could talk a little about the ESO or the ISPO that we are running now. You can say we have been talking ISO for a long time. We have an open channel in our Discord for single stake pool operators that currently have under 10 million ADA delegated. Our plan is to start up a couple of ISOs so we could balance the funding but still helping the smaller pools. So the funding from the ISPOs goes to deploying the gateways or the terminals that will be, they have talked a little about that before. But we want, actually I want to give the Cardano community a challenge, because we know how the smaller SPOs are struggling. We see them every week. They are retiring, and if they are not retiring, they are very close to it. So we are just seeking to how could we receive funding from our Africa operation through our ISPOs, but still help single stake pool operators. So that is, we hope this could be actually maybe it could be a system that everybody will use, because ISPOs has come to stay. It's a great way for the company to receive funding, and we know that a lot will use ISPOs, and there will be more of them in the future. So how can we all come together, the community, and see, yes, we want to found this project to deploy the terminals, but how can we do that with not doing it or making it harder for smaller pools? So that is something I really want to talk more about the community, and that's why we will be all weeks on different spaces and reach out to the community and see how can we do it in a way everybody could live with.
Yes, as an SPO, we're relatively small. I love to hear that, especially seeing a lot of projects, their ISPOs actually sucking away delegation. from their small pools. So if your aim is to help small pools and help yourself, I believe this is goodwill money for everybody and will be widely welcomed in the community. And obviously you have my invitation to talk about your details about ISPOs and your progresses in the upcoming Twitter space that I will host.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, that would be really great. We have actually talked with a lot of pools. Bjarne from Tech Pool, we have every Summit Pool, we have Hyggestake Pool, Milo is there. So we are in contact with a lot of them, and also Silobite with Boris. I need to bring him up because he has been a great sparring partner through this too.
Excellent, sounds great. So very nice chatting with you. I think it's a great start. You have my invitation to join me to talk about your initial partnership with your 2 European partners, how it went when it comes to that time. And I look forward to knowing more about the ISPO and your further progress. And with that said, best of luck to IAMX, and I look forward to hearing from you again, and happy holidays.
Sheshe.
Dankeschön. Thank
Thank
you,
you very
everybody.
much.
Tack, tusen tack. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.